Welcome to Attitude, a relationship podcast about love, friendships, and everything in between. Hello and welcome to Attitude. I'm here with Randi from Cases of Color. Say hello, Randi.
Hey, what's good, everybody?
So, Randi is here today. We have to discuss basically the state of the world, state of America, which is truly a hellscape. So I thought of the best person that could discuss this topic with me, and it's Randi, another person of color, a woman, and also somebody who advocates for Black people, brown people, and marginalized people, especially with her podcast, Cases of Color. Please go follow it. So let's get into it right away.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Daunte Wright was murdered.
Yes.
And I woke up to the news and it's just crazy how I just don't even, I'm not even surprised. I'm shocked, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, and another Black person killed by a cop. Mm-hmm. Another one.
Yep. So
if you didn't hear, if you're living in a bomb shelter or underneath a rock, Daunte Wright was a 20-year-old man, a biracial man. And I say that because we're going to get into why that's important in a moment. But he was pulled over allegedly for having air fresheners hanging from his rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I am from Michigan, and I remember this being a thing when I was in high school. Police would tell us, or people would say, hey, I got pulled over because I had, like a Hawaiian lei hanging in my rearview mirror that made me take it down. But that was just a way for police to pull over the Black people in our town. As an excuse, saying that it was obstructing your view. So I don't know if you've heard of this happening.
So I, as somebody who like religiously keeps shit hanging from their rearview mirror, because like I'm a Mexican from Texas.
Hell
so
yeah. You're gonna proudly display.
I literally have like rosaries and little vials of holy water hanging from like a St. Christopher hanging from my rearview mirror. I've always had that hanging up, to include air fresheners. So when I heard about that and then found out it was illegal in some states, it was unheard of to me.
Yeah.
But I do see how it could be weaponized.
Oh yeah. It's just another way to make an excuse to pull people of color over, because that's usually who, and when I was in high school, who would get pulled over, and they'd be like, oh, we pulled them over initially, or they got pulled over initially for the, obstructing the view, but then they would be like, oh, we found weed in your car. Yeah, sure you did. So he got pulled over. He called his mother and said, hey, I'm getting pulled over and I'm scared, as you should be when you're not white.
Yep.
And they tell him to step out of the car. Apparently he had a warrant for his arrest out, which I find a little bit suspect, but he had a warrant for his arrest, and he attempted to get back into his vehicle, and the bitch that shot him said that she thought it was a taser.
Did you watch the video?
I can't. I stopped watching the videos after Michael Brown. I can't watch anything leading up to a death and during. It's just too traumatizing for me. And Tamir Rice, I'm still like haunted by that video. So I cannot watch the video.
So I watched it on accident. And I say on accident because I did not realize
what you're watching.
What I was watching. It unfolded slowly but quickly, if that makes sense. Because it was like some change. I'm like, oh, they're showing what led up to it. You know how sometimes like when you watch reels on Instagram, it just pops up, but there's no like pause, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it, and it's almost like it happened. I'm like, oh my God, I just watched her shoot this man. But I say this to say, I watched the video, and She has her gun out and it's in clear view of the body cam. So I'm going to assume it's in clear view of her eye view.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see Duante, he's not fighting. He's just trying to drive off. He's basically trying to flee the scene, which is not an uncommon thing for people to do
because they're like, I don't want to go to jail. Because the implications of jail mean I have to sit in jail I have to get bail. I have to go to court. I have to be on probation. All of these things go through your mind before you're about to get arrested. And it's like, okay, let him drive off. Then you have evading arrest, causing interference with an investigation. You have more to book him on than just whatever warrant you said you had. There you go. Then you can put your black man in jail. But that's what I don't understand. Because I remember, was it last year or the year before? I can't even keep up with all these murders. The man who fell asleep in the drive-thru at a Wendy's, and he tried to drive off
in Atlanta,
and they killed him. Yeah, and they killed him. But everybody was saying, let these people drive off, and then you have more of a case on them, and then you can go ahead and with your racism and keep them in jail like you want to.
I believe it was Rayshard Brooks, or if I'm messing up the name, y'all, I sincerely apologize. It's Black people are dying every day. It's very hard to keep up.
Yeah,
but he was running. He wasn't even in a car. He was running. That's right. And the cop just shot him, and it's like, let them run. Like,
and you have another warrant for their
where
arrest.
In your training does it tell you has their back turned to shoot and kill them? And her excuse about saying she mistook it multiple times. You see this gun in. And she's like, I'm going to tase you. I'm going to tase you, which is standard procedure to tell somebody multiple times you're going to tase. But it's clearly a handgun. It's clearly her gun.
And she's been on the police force for 26 years.
Yeah.
If she can't tell after 26 years the difference between a taser, and if you haven't seen a taser, look it up, and a handgun, then she shouldn't be a police officer, period.
I completely agree.
So
I agree 1,000%.
I don't know. I would
like, oh
know.
Shit, I shot him.
Yeah.
What?
You knew damn well what you're doing. You have to pull the trigger. I can't even imagine how she even can get away with that, but she will probably, because we know how these cases end up. So, and she also happens to be the president of the police union. How convenient. How convenient. So she resigned, which means that she can get a pension. That means she could be reassigned at another department. So will justice be served? Well, we won't know. But all I know is that a 20-year-old kid, I mean, that's a kid, was killed for no reason. He posed no danger to anyone at that moment before she shot him. So he left behind a 2-year-old. His mother, his father. I mean, he's somebody to somebody. He's someone to somebody. And that's what these police officers don't understand, is that these are human beings that you may not care about, but they have families that care about them. So for you to decide that their life doesn't matter is so selfish and cruel. I just can't even put it into words how much I hate these police officers who decide to use their badge as an excuse to murder.
And it's also disgusting to hear people talk about, well, he had a warrant, as if a warrant is a death sentence. You could have a parking ticket, forget to pay it, just because some time went by and get a fucking warrant.
Let me tell the story. So
Go ahead.
This is how I know this happens to people more often than not, that they don't know they have a warrant. Mm-hmm. So I got into a car accident in 2013. I got charged with reckless driving because I was speeding when I got into the accident. So I had a court date. The court date happened to fall on like first day of college classes, which I could not miss. It was my senior year. So I wrote the judge. They never responded. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I wrote them a letter. I can't go. They didn't give me a new court date, so I'm good. Fast forward 2014, I'm about to come out to Phoenix. I get pulled over for speeding. I used to have a lead foot. Now I'm a way better driver. I used to have a lead foot, and I used to be a horrible driver until I moved to a city where I actually had to pay attention and pay attention to more than just like antelopes walking around. So I'm in Colorado. I'm getting ready to head to Phoenix, and I get pulled over for speeding. I think it's like a routine. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna get a ticket. Here we go. The officer goes, step out of the car, ma'am. I'm like, excuse me? Step out of the car. Put your hands behind your back. I got arrested. I got put in jail for 8 hours for having a failure to show up to court warrant for a traffic violation. I'd never been in trouble before, besides that incident, and I've never had any criminal background. I was in there with meth heads, women who said that they stabbed their boyfriend, all kinds of crazy people for 8 hours. Jesus. So it is very easy for you not to know you even have a warrant for your arrest. It's not like the police call you like, hey, by the way, you might want to come down to the court because you have a warrant out for your arrest. They hope they find you because they get money for every person they arrest. So
exactly.
Anyway, so for people to say that he had a warrant, that means he's automatically a criminal. That's not true, because I had a warrant and I know damn well I'm not a criminal. So all those people.
And newsflash, even criminals deserve fucking respect.
Right.
And even criminals don't deserve to fucking die.
Yes. What?
Because of a fucking air freshener.
Exactly. And the crazy part is how they justify murder, but they can peacefully take in somebody. We just saw a month ago, that man that shot up that spa, killed those people, and committed a hate crime against Asians, get taken into custody peacefully. I cannot understand. Help me understand, white people. Help me understand people who don't believe that Black people deserve to be treated fairly and have a trial. I mean, these people, they kill people. They don't even give them a chance to be proven guilty. They're guilty before they're even, convicted of anything. So
thank you. And the shit y'all be putting death sentence on Black bodies for in real life would be fucking misdemeanors.
Let's think Lucy cigarette, selling Lucy's, stealing cigarillos, walking down the street with a hoodie on and having Arizona tea and some Skittles, making a wrong turn, not having the correct registration, not having a seatbelt. I mean, I could go on.
Letting the cop know that you have your gun and you also have a permit and that you're going to reach for it, and for him not to worry. That type of shit.
Yes. So where do people get off even claiming that these people are criminals or that they deserve to die over such minuscule things that are not a threat to public safety? Knows a threat to public safety? White supremacists that go up and shoot up spas and clubs and go to the Capitol and storm the Capitol. And those are the people that are a threat to our safety, not somebody driving down the street with an air freshener hanging from his rearview mirror. So now a mother doesn't have a son, a baby doesn't have a father, and here we are.
Family is mourning.
Yeah. And will they get justice? I don't know. Who knows? And so then we also, in the same week, even though this happened a few weeks ago, we hear about the little boy in Chicago, 13 years old, shot in the chest, and they lied on him and said he had a gun.
Yep.
And that the officer feared for their lives. Like, if you fear for your life around a 13-year-old, you should not be an officer. Period. No. And if a Black person or a brown person scares you, you shouldn't be an officer.
No, you should not.
You should not have a gun. I have no words. And then for the mayor of Chicago to say, let's keep the peace, let's not protest. Fuck you.
Yeah, there ain't no fucking peace.
No,
ain't you the same bitch that gave these cops all this fucking COVID relief money?
Thank you.
Lori?
Yes, Lori Lightfoot. She's probably going to be in Men's Warehouse hiding when the riots start. Like, her old bad business suit having ass.
I can't stand her ass. She's like Franklin.
She looks like a lemur with the oversized suit on.
I'm
Get
sick
that
of
lady
her
a
ass,
Taylor. I am
man.
so sick of her.
And what killed me is because I've seen conflicting reports. He had a gun, he didn't have a gun. One of the main things there is that from the people who've said he had a gun, the report still stands that he was told to put it down and he put it down and was shot after the fact. So all you motherfuckers that want to talk about people complying, if you comply,
it doesn't matter.
They don't give a fuck. It's almost like a robotic response to still fucking shoot you, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops are supposed to de-escalate situations. They are incapable of doing so.
Yeah. And how many trainings have they had since Rodney King? Let's go all the way back to Rodney King. How many trainings have these officers had? These de-escalation trainings or the racial sensitivity trainings that are not working. And we're pumping in our money, our tax money, for these people to not even protect. I mean, I don't feel safe.
I don't either.
I don't feel good that, I have Black family members that could get pulled over and killed that I have to worry about every day. That's the part that we are paying these people to kill us.
Yep.
And they expect us to sit here and take it. Be like, you know what? You're right. They shouldn't have made an illegal left turn. They shouldn't have been walking at night with a hoodie on, scaring the white folks. So, yes, it's just been a week of, and then I log into Twitter today to see that Kyle Rittenhouse, the little bitch that went down to the protests and shot and killed people with the AK-47. It was AK-47, AR-15. I can't even keep track of.
Well, it was one of the two.
It's these weapons that people truly don't need. What the fuck do you need an automatic weapon for? I would love to know, unless you're Indiana Jones or God, the Equalizer. Like, stop. So, police and government officials were donating money to this motherfucker's GoFundMe. $600,000. So you mean to tell me we have people in office, we have police officers supporting, which isn't surprising because police work is based off of the KKK and white supremacy. So we'll come back there. But that they are supporting a person who has been charged with murder.
Yep.
That we are paying these people once again with our tax dollars. And we're paying them to pay other murderers. Like, what world do we live in where police are in our best interest? Listen, somebody tell me.
I try to tell people all the time, and some of these fucking hoorah hoe ass conservative people be trying to argue with me. Let me tell you something. Civil servant, which means you're here to fucking serve me. Bitch, you're living and working off my tax dollars. You're sending Timmy to fucking T-ball off my fucking tax dollars. Then, bitch, if you pull me over, I why the fuck you're pulling me over. That is a valid question. I can ask you, why do you want me to step out of my vehicle? That is a valid question that I have a right to ask your bitch ass, and your motherfucking ass has to oblige. But no, you'd rather go on a fucking power trip with people, fucking handcuff people for bullshit, wrestle people down for bullshit, pepper spray people for bullshit, instead of just doing your fucking job. You want to talk about being scared? Bitch, you should be scared because this generation is not taking shit. And that's the problem. Y'all wondering why y'all are so scared, why some of y'all have to be so scared. Because people are getting fucking tired of y'all violating people's fucking rights. You cannot violate people's constitutional rights and think that people aren't going to have a fucking livid ass response. Yeah. Y'all need to learn what to leave well the fuck alone. And then y'all donate money to shit like this and you wonder why people don't trust you. You want people to trust you and have faith in your bull system, but y'all are affiliated with white supremacy groups, affiliated with the Boogaloo movement, affiliated with fucking Kyle Rittenhouse. Why would anyone trust you?
Yeah, that's
we don't.
No, I'm never. don't know how many times I have to say this. Police do not prevent crime. No. I'm going to say it again. Police do not prevent crime. They don't deter people from becoming criminals. No. Have you ever heard somebody say, I was going to rob the bank. I was going to kill my wife. I was going to slap the dog shit out of somebody at the club. But I thought about the police officers that would arrest me. And I said, maybe not today. No. That has
police
never
come
happened.
After the fact. They're not a preventative measure.
And they usually make situations worse. Rarely have I ever seen them really make a situation better, but they'll have these fake ass videos of police officers passing out food to the homeless, and these fake ass videos of police officers hugging kids at school. Like, no,
and basketball and shit.
Save that bullshit. I'm not here for it.
They don't make shit better. It's like that one black man, I'm sad I don't know his name off the top of my head, who was a bodyguard in Florida, and this white man got into a fight at his club. Police were called, and the police showed up and shot him, even though he was a bodyguard working there, and he was not the issue. But they assumed it was his black ass that was the problem and killed him.
Yeah.
Killed him.
Yeah. They don't ask questions. They shoot first, ask questions later.
Yep.
So,
and face no
consequences. And they know this. Like, they will have a lot of these police officers already have, shootings or incidents with potential quote unquote criminals or people or suspects, and they will already have a record of abusing their power, and they still will have a job, so it does not matter. So who's going to protect us from the police? That's what I want to know. And then I love how they, they're like, we're going to do an investigation. They're investigating themselves.
Look,
that would be like me. I'm a teacher. That would be like me knowing a kid stole something, and I asked the other kids in the class to investigate for me on the behalf of the stolen merchandise. What?
Yeah, no,
I'm not doing that. You got to get it outside. You got to get a third party, somebody who is unbiased. What a concept. So America basically, I mean, it's been founded on racism and white supremacy, and now people are like, oh yeah, maybe cops aren't so great. But people get scared when we say defund the police. We're not saying abolish the police. Defunding, if you haven't heard my past episodes, defunding means reallocating money to resources that people actually need. We need mental health counselors.
Thank you.
We need infrastructure to help people in poverty, and we need rehab facilities for people who are on drugs.
Yes.
All of that.
Teachers need a fucking raise because they're with our badass kids every day. And when I say our badass kids, I mean mine. And even though my kids are very well behaved,
they're very well behaved. And
so I'm being very dramatic.
Yes, but think of the ones that are actually silver.
The ones my kids gossip to me about. But I say that to say, if we put money in schools, especially in bad neighborhoods, when kids have education creates opportunity. When kids have opportunity and they have advantages that fucking rich ass kids have, guess what they can do? Not be involved in crime, not be involved in certain shit. The crime rates will go down, poverty rates will go down.
They know that.
People have opportunity, but they don't want that shit. If y'all don't believe that, y'all need to read the book White Trash, the 300-year history.
I was going to promote that.
Of classism in America. If you've never read that shit, you got to read it.
So
this shit is a system.
It is a system that's been established since slavery. So basically this book just brings to attention, and that word white trash obviously has a negative connotation, and white people hate to be called white trash. But that is because in the days of slavery, they would get the poor white people to basically compete with the slaves for like power, so they would have opportunities to be basically the first established police system were these poor white people, because that gave them a job to do. So that's usually what people in power depend on, are the ignorant, poor, disenfranchised white people.
Yep.
Who was at the Capitol? Who was at the Capitol? Was it Jeff Bezos? No, it wasn't. It was people with middle school, high school educations, middle class, white people that feel, because they the way capitalism works and the way this system works is they prey upon people's insecurities and fears. So when the insurrection happened, it was because those people have been conditioned and told their jobs are at stake, their freedom is at stake, their liberty is at stake, and their rights to own guns and have free speech are at stake because they're ignorant. And they think that if they defeat, liberals or minorities, that they also will be billionaires, which that's how you know they're ignorant. There's no way you can become a billionaire.
Nope.
Unless you
set up for you to be one.
Unless you're related to a billionaire, you're not becoming a billionaire, baby. So, yeah. So put that 48 laws of power down. Put rich dad, poor dad down, and get with the program.
White trash.
Yes. So, also, this Duante Wright brought out a lot of confused white people that think that because they have a biracial child, that the child being biracial, the whiteness, somehow masks the fact that they're also Black. Sure. So I'm going to read this statement from this woman.
You have it pulled up? I have it pulled up.
Oh, okay. Can you read it for us, Randi?
Of course I can.
Thank you.
Of course. Because I had to put my glasses on.
Yes.
When you sent it to me.
Yes.
Because I could not believe what I was reading.
Yes.
It said, Jillian Robinson, she said on Twitter, I can't even tell you how shook I am that Duante Wright was biracial. I have to admit that there was a twisted part of me that hoped that my son's half whiteness would help keep him safer than if he looked fully Black. Now I know he's not safe at all.
Girl, so there's a lot to dissect in that. First of all,
Jesus,
who sees a death of somebody and then looks at their children and was like, oh my God, you could get killed too. And decides to get on Twitter and relay that sentiment to the masses. In what world does that even make sense to do that after somebody dies?
And also, I'm just gonna dive right in. I'm gonna go in. This is something I'm very passionate about. And I would like to be clear. I am a child of a non-Black mother. My mom is not Black. But one thing my mom is not is this bitch from Twitter. My mom was very clear on my Blackness, made sure I was affirmed in my Blackness, knew that I was a Black person, proud of that shit, and didn't keep me from my history, not that bullshit they try to teach us in school about the same three fucking Black.
They're like Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, and Harriet Tubman, period.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Like, I need y'all to hear me clearly. Quit fucking Black people and making Black children and not understanding what the fuck that means when you live in this racist ass world. Not just America, the fucking world is racist. White supremacy is global. If you are going to bring a Black child into this world, that includes a lot of shit. Be fucking Dante in them or whoever the fuck in them and being like, oh, I'm just gonna have some pretty little light-skinned mixed baby and blah 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 fucking blah. And then when you leave your ass, thank you. You don't want to fucking raise your baby up in their Blackness. It is your fucking job and duty the moment you give birth to a Black person to raise them up and affirm them in their Blackness. There's a fucking TikTok challenge of white women with Black children posting what I wanted, and it's like some aesthetically pleasing mixed child versus what I got. And the what I got is their own fucking baby. Because their baby has more Black features.
Not
what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Or whatever they want to call it. Yeah, what is wrong with you guys? I mean, do you need help? Do you need to be 5150'd? Because I don't understand how you can, have these fantasies about having a child and what they would look like. That's insane. Like, you're just going to have a child so it can be a cute accessory. But what about when it grows up and it knows nothing about its race, culture?
Thank you.
identity, and they're just as ignorant as you are. I mean,
go on TikTok and look at some of these biracial kids that's out here fucked up because their parent never raised them to know shit about being Black.
No,
it's sad. Shit had me crying. I'm like, damn. And I had to call my mama and tell her thank you. Because I didn't. No, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Y'all think your whiteness is a shield on your Black child? It's not.
It's not, because guess what? I am a biracial woman. My mom is white, as the day is long. Shout out to Peggy. Yeah, shout out to Miss Peggy. But as you've heard before, she is what I like to call a not white person, but a person that happens to be white. My mom never shied away from us being Black children. She never once said, no, don't do that, or no. Okay, wait, I'm lying. She did say, you may not listen to country or vote Republican or bring a white man home. She did have those rules. So those are just some rules we had to follow.
I love Peggy, an icon,
queen, icon, legend. But we knew our culture. We were specifically raised in a Baptist church, and I was only around my Black family up until I was in college, and then I moved to Wyoming and I was around my white family. But I was thankful I was around my Black family, because I would have turned out to be a real weirdo if I lived in Wyoming, grew up on my white family. I would be listening to country, wearing Miss Me jeans and an Ed Hardy shirt if I did not grow up in Michigan. So, these women think that their children are an aesthetic. They do not understand the damage they're doing by thinking this. And that this woman looked at her kids and thought, like, oh, this is serious. My kids aren't protected. Duh, bitch. I don't know how many times, like, people have said, like, called me like white passing. And I'm like, well, that's funny, because it's never stopped me from being, or stopped anybody from calling me the N-word. So I don't know what part of me is white passing, but you can tell I'm not white. And don't fucking fix your face to say that. I may be the quote unquote, like, acceptable light-skinned Blackness that people aren't fearful of, but that does not mean that I'm not Black. So I need white women to stop. I need you Black men to realize who you're having children with and the damage that they are doing. And I'm not sure. And there was a biracial couple, interracial couple, and they were talking about how they like to do slave role playing, like stuff like that. Stop. Love yourselves, my Black kings and queens. Love yourselves. And I just, no. Do not date somebody just because you want your kid to have good, quote unquote, good hair. Because guess what? Even if they do have good hair, I bet she don't know how to lay them edges. So stop it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So moving on, that silly dumb bitch, she deleted her Twitter, as she should have.
She should.
Because that was the stupidest thing. I don't know how people just decide that they're going to tweet some dumb shit like that and get away with it. Like, everybody was like, yeah, girl, I looked at my biracial child and I said, damn, you are Black, Duante. Like,
why are you making Black children? Jesus, listen, I want to, one more time, we're gonna double back very quickly. Black men, come close. Black men, come close.
Put your ear to the headphone, put it inside your brain.
Come close right now. Before y'all start making babies with anyone, please know, if your ass was to die or be out of the picture, will your child be affirmed in their Blackness?
Thank you.
Does this woman know that whatever child she has with you is the Black one? Mm-hmm. If the answer is no, you got to go. That's simple. And it's that fucking simple.
Period.
Because I would rather die. I would rather eat a bowl of water with a fork than be with somebody who ain't gonna teach my children about being Black and loving the fuck out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then also that goes with their parents, like your partner's parents. If your partner's parents are racist, do not have your children around them. No. Do not. Don't put that trauma on them. And you shouldn't want to be with somebody whose parents are racist anyway, because there is no excuse. You can't be like, oh, that they're old. No, fuck me, ma and papa. Fuck them. Hide their medication.
Okay.
Hide their medication. Screw the jars on really, really tight so they slip a disc. But there's no excuse for racism anymore. I'm not buying that. That's their generation. Fuck their generation.
Yeah, nah. You can unlearn anything. Because, my Uncle Steve, that's my godfather. But my Uncle Steve told me a long time ago, he said, you know what, Randy? He's like, before you were born, he said, and before I met your dad, he said, I did used to use the N-word. He said, but I met your dad. He said, and I became your godfather. He said, and that shit is wrong. And that's it. And he is an ignorant ass white man from Missouri. But even Uncle Steve could fucking learn. I don't want that man don't even know how to work email.
So okay, there's no excuse.
It's no excuse.
Get not your parents one. Together. So, that brings me to this. What do we do? It's not about what do we do. It's about what you white people are going to do, and what you're going to do is stop posting on social media in vain and not put an action behind it. I don't want to see another fucking black square. I don't want to see another picture of you reading White Fragility because it ain't working.
Thank you.
I don't want to see you taking pictures of your black family members or friends and saying, I love my, people of color. No, I don't want to see any of that. I want to see some action. And by action, I mean, I need white people to start mobilizing on our behalf. We're tired, exhausted. This has been going on for hundreds of years. I mean, can you fathom white people? Yeah. Can you fathom being a marginalized group since the inception of, people deciding that black people were horrible?
Thank you.
So it's your turn, white folks.
It is. And I second that shit, Anna, because I be tired of it. You motherfuckers love posting a post, sharing a pre-made post that your motherfucking ass didn't bother to make, but then you'll take your motherfucking ass down to the Thanksgiving table. We'll hear your whoever saying some ignorant ass shit, and you won't correct them. You'll let them same people be around your kids. You'll keep bringing your ass around them. You won't correct your ignorant ass fucking friends that you do have. You won't check nobody on your fucking Facebook sharing that bullshit. Exactly. But you'll come to fucking Instagram and post some shit. I don't want to see none of that shit.
I want to
stop fucking action. Talking. What are you about to do? Because it's more of y'all than us. We are fucking tired. We are already having to fucking protect ourselves, protect our loved ones, protect our fucking children. I have an 11-year-old child who is 5'7" and looks like a fucking teenager. And I have to tell myself every day, what day is the day that somebody doesn't see my baby as a fucking baby? Because she is.
Black people and brown people are automatically adults in the eyes of the state. Look at Tamir Rice. He was a baby playing at the park. Like kids do, and he was murdered. So yeah, I mean, as somebody who's not a parent, I cannot fathom the fear that you have and the worry that you have. But I look at the kids that I teach at school, and I'm like, when are they going to be considered dangerous? They're 7 because they're all brown. You never know.
Or, even with my daughter, Kyla, you've met Kyla. She has a big ass personality. Oh, yeah. She's very boisterous, outgoing. And I've been so lucky that she's had good teachers that have been very understanding of who she is. And they've nurtured that. But when we're going to get some racist ass teacher who thinks I just have this loud, rambunctious, ghetto ass child. Oh, yeah. When really she's testing for talented and gifted. She's a fucking math whiz. She's super duper smart. She's super duper intelligent, but she has a big personality and she does Martin impressions. And
there we go.
You know what I mean? She's dramatic and she's full of life. But again, when does my child become some loud ghetto black girl versus a very colorful child.
Yeah, being a child. Yeah, Black and brown kids are not allowed to be children.
No.
And they have never been able to be just children. They're seen as a danger and a burden to society. So yeah, it's just fucked up, all of it. And we're all exhausted. And so then I want to discuss the George Floyd trial. And another thing I cannot watch because it just reopens wounds that I just can't, for my mental health, I can't watch. I'll watch clips of some of the trial when it comes on the news, but it's very sad to see like his family members, his brother saying like, you know, he was a leader. He was somebody I looked up to. Everybody loved when he came over. We loved to see him. It's sad. He's talking about his brother, and knowing that this even has to be a drawn out trial when this man, the police officer should just throw him underneath the jail.
Yep.
And we don't know how it's going to end. It doesn't matter how much evidence is stacked against these people.
Yep.
I mean, there was an EMT there that said she knew that George Floyd was dying and she wanted to help and they wouldn't let her. We had, doctors saying it was the knee that killed him. He was not on drugs. Like everybody is trying to have this narrative of that the reason why he died is because he was on drugs. No, I mean, put a knee on your neck. Put a knee on, let a knee rest, have a knee into your neck for not seconds, for minutes on end, and see if you survive. So yeah, it's just very sickening, and it makes me just so upset that it's every week now.
Yeah,
so
it is. It's nonstop.
And it's like, you know what, the only thing that stopped these like mass shootings and racial, murders, COVID lockdowns.
Yep.
That was the most peaceful I think I've ever felt.
Yep. And now motherfuckers getting vaccines and they shooting up shit again. It's just like the 19-year-old white boy who possibly, I'll say possibly because it hasn't been confirmed, but I'm sure it's true, was targeting some of the Sikh members. Sikh, is it Sikh or Sikh? S-I-K, Sikh. Okay, the Sikh members who worked in that FedEx facility. He's 19.
And these are the radicalized white people that Trump emboldened. So
he's alive, by the way. No one killed him when they arrested him.
Crazy, right? When you have a gun and you're white, what the things you get away with? You get away with murder.
I know, literally commit mass murder, kill 8 people, injure a bunch of others.
19 years old, and they're getting
not a scratch on him.
Nope. They probably took him to Burger King like they did Dylan Roof after he killed all those people at the church. Geez. So, and that's the part that is really just scares me, because I think a lot of people had this hope that racism was like from the 1950s and all, as soon as these baby boomers die, that it'll go away. No, now we got Kyle Rittenhouse. He was 17, and we got this man let's call him a man, since they like to call anybody over the age. He's a man now, because Black people are men until proven otherwise. So
even when they're children.
So he's 19 and, killing folks. So you can't tell me that, racism is going to die off. No, it's not going to die off until people start questioning, start educating, and start accepting the fact that America was founded on racism.
Yep. It's in the soil.
So, yes. So anyway, I don't even have any more words, because it's just like, we'll probably have to do another podcast about this, unfortunately, because it's going to happen. I mean, when does it end? When does it end?
It doesn't.
So do you have any words for the listeners or anybody out there who might still be like, I don't know if we should defund the police. We need them because I'm scared.
Let me tell you something. You don't need the fucking police. You know
if
what
you're
you
scared,
need?
call your mama.
Yeah, you know what you need? Use your Second Amendment right and get you a fucking gun. Because let me tell you something. Somebody breaks up in your shit, whatever they about to do, they're going to be able to do it to you before the cops can get to you to save your motherfucking ass. Mm-hmm. Buy a knife. Buy a taser. You get beat up on the street, cops are coming to file a fucking report and take pictures of your bloody ass. What are the cops really doing for you? All the millions of dollars that are being spent on the cops when there are things in your community that could use that same money that would make your community better. You don't feel safe in your neighborhood could be safer.
If there were opportunities.
If the people in it had opportunities. No one would rob you if they could have a fucking living wage.
Thank you. And things are going to get worse
about that shit.
Yeah, things are going to get worse because those stimulus package of the $1,400 has run out and people are getting desperate. The CARES Act has run out. People are getting evicted. There's no mental health help anywhere for anybody that doesn't have insurance. Even if you do have insurance, there's no help. So, America, I'm gonna need you to get your raggedy ass together.
Get it together, bitch. Nobody talking shit.
And don't tell. And for the people that say if you don't like it, leave. Why don't y'all leave?
Or better yet, bitch, where the fuck am I gonna go? Your ancestors erased our fucking languages, our traditions, our culture. I couldn't trace my way back any further than a fucking slave port if I wanted to. So, bitch, I ain't going nowhere. This land is your land and my land. Hold on, we both gonna be here, and I'm gonna call it fucking raggedy.
Thank you.
I'm
seriously. And you know what I always think about when things like this happen, like when that man shot up the FedEx. I'm like, I think of that meme of Jackie Christie. Like, I want to see the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air on his ass. That's what we were promised.
All of that shit.
So defund the police, invest in your community, and stay woke, and tell your mima and papa to fuck off if they're racist. And so love and light, especially to my people of color, my LGBTQ plus fam, my people of color and women, basically everybody except for straight cis Caucasian males. So, and the police officers that have killed Black people, y'all can fuck right off. So anyways, Randi, thank you once again for coming on the pod. And follow Randi on Cases of Color on Instagram. Find her on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you pod. She's doing great work. She's bringing light to many cases of color, as she says in her title, to marginalized people that are usually not reported on. So shout out to her. Randi, thank you again.
Of course.
And if it's day, night, love and light, have a good one. Bye.